This is Fallen Mode, one of the best game modes in the entire game of TDS. There are more things that meets the eye in just, well, Fallen Mode, because, I mean, it's pretty fucking awesome playing it every single time. We're going to be discussing why Fallen Mode currently is a masterpiece. Before even choosing a difficulty, the player is already intimidated by the Fallen logo voting thing. Because, I mean, looking at all the other ones, you can choose them. However, this one you cannot if you are just starting the game. You need to be at minimum level 10 in order to vote for Fallen Mode. And just by that recommendation, or just, you know, by that requirement, you know for sure that literally once you play Fallen Mode, or at least get to the part where you are actually able to vote for Fallen Mode, this is going to be very, very difficult. You've already managed to be able to defeat, like for an example, Molten and Intermediate Mode. That, you know, Intermediate Mode is kind of challenging since it's fast-paced. However, that is nothing compared to Fallen. Something you realize immediately are the enemy designs. As you can see, these are just the good old-fashioned green enemies and blue enemies. However, there is something very noticeable that's very different, and that is the many veins around their bodies. You can already tell that something's, you know, going up, and that they are literally much more powerful than they used to be. However, this isn't really reiterated until you get to, as an example, the Shadow guys, who each of them have 20 HP. All of the other game modes have usually around 10 to around 13 HP, but these guys have 20 HP and are, you know, purple. At the start of Wave 20, you fight, instead of some fast guys with very little HP, you fight some not too fast guys. However, they are pretty fast. Fallen, yes, that's what their actual name is, Fallen Runner guys. And these guys have a lot of HP. Thankfully, there's only at least 4 of them, I believe, once you start off. However, since they have a lot of HP, you better hope that you and your teammates have just enough damage of DPS in order to take these guys down. Then, around the 20s wave, you fight a very familiar foe, and that is the giant bosses, who now have 400 more HP, and this is where it starts to get heavy. As you go through the waves, more and more giant bosses and more fallen dudes just come out, and it gets really challenging in many parts. And then you get to Wave 27. On Wave 27, you find an enemy you could never expect, a literal glitch. These enemies are called, well, glitch, and they are very, very fast. They have quite a lot of HP, so let's just say if you don't really have too many towers with a big enough range and a lot of DPS damage, you're gonna perish very, very, very fast. On Wave 30, you fight the biggest threat so far in the entire game. This is the Tank, a literal abomination, devastation, creation of just, well, chaos and destruction. This guy is fast. Not only that, he has a shitload of HP at 6k, making him by far one of the most difficult threats you have to overcome literally so far into the game. Once you get past this guy, don't be surprised when they literally start to spam this guy every once in a while and every few waves. Then on Wave 35, you fight an also pretty problematic enemy that will appear in every other game mode in the game, and that is the Warden or Templar. Well, mainly the Warden, since most of these maps are now getting, you know, remastered or anything like that. But anyway, this is the Warden. You better hope you can actually bait this guy into, well, aiming at a tower that's very close to the beginning. That way all of your other safer and much more stronger towers can take this guy down. Before the final wave, Wave 40, you are on the end of Wave 39, to which little minions of the Fallen King or Fallen Army, however you want to, you know, call it, appear. And these are the Fallen Heroes. They give every single person a dreading feeling, because I mean, this is right before the final boss. And then finally, Wave 40. This is literally the final boss. Before that, let's go ahead and warm you up a little bit. You fight a mini wave, like for an example, regular spammed enemies, but then 4 giant obsidian guards with spears the size of skyscrapers come out, with each 15,000 HP, and they can obviously stun a tower, and these are 4 of them, so they can stun 4 towers at a time. And then finally, the final boss. Conveniently, they are, well, the Fallen Guardians. Anything for my country, sir! And these guys will protect the kings. That is why they are, you know... Once taking down the Guardians, you face off against the Fallen King. He has a total of 150,000 HP. Once you get him down to 80,000 HP, he pulls out his sword, goes Super Saiyan, and spins around and chops a bunch of towers, stunning them, and also gains a bit of extra health or shield, however you want to call it, and calls in reinforcements, as in 2 or 3 more Guardians. Then, you finally manage to defeat the Fallen King. Quite honestly, this is one of my most favorited game modes, which is kind of obvious since this game mode is just way more played by higher people, but also just because it's a lot more, I guess, fun than obviously like Intermediate or like Molten. But sure, there are some ups and downs about Fallen. Sometimes not all strategies can work on this map, so you really have to use just like really strong strats. But aside from that, this Fallen game mode is very nice and I love to play it all the time. And also I just want to go ahead and mention that I think the money thing is a bug because it says 700 here, but I don't know why it says 600. Hopefully that's a bug. I decided to go ahead to make this video about the Fallen game mode mainly because Fallen mode is gonna get reworked soon. So yeah, I'll definitely make a 2.0 version, aka a part 2, to see if the reworked version is a lot better or worse. But either way, hopefully they don't nerf it or just make it to where literally it's not as fun as this version of Fallen.